Image and beauty is about communication. It's about expressing yourself. You can be comfortable and beautiful. It's not mutually exclusive. I'm not here to tell you today that there's one formula for beauty because I don't believe that. I want everyone to know that comfort and style are not enemies. Hi everybody, I'm Eve Michaels, transformational makeover and image expert. I am here on behalf of NAC 2012 to talk to you about my favorite subject, image. Now I know some of you watching today already saw me live at NAC in Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, but I've been asked to go over my seminar for you, for those of you who may have missed some of the points that I spoke about, and for those of you who were unable to attend my live seminar. I've been an image and makeover expert for over 30 years. And one day, about 18 years ago, a client came to my office and gave me this amazing poem that Nelson Mandela read at his 1994 inaugural speech. Until she gave me this poem, I couldn't understand why people didn't want to look better, why people were so resistant to looking their best when I thought it was the greatest joy and privilege. And once I read this poem, I had an amazing kind of aha moment, which I have shared ever since with every group I've ever spoken to, every seminar or workshop I teach, and every private client that I meet reads and integrates this beautiful poem so that we get our mindset straight before we discuss image. This poem was written by Marianne Williamson, and it's called Our Greatest Fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, handsome, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God within us. It is not just in some, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we consciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others. How does that poem make you feel? I'm sure that you feel some kind of positive energy coming up inside of you. For in order for me to help you turn on the light of beauty in your lives, you need to recognize that we are supposed to be magnificent. We are supposed to be powerful. We are powerful. And so every day I encourage you and implore you to say out loud while you are driving, in the morning when you get dressed, at night before you go to sleep. Please repeat, I am magnificent. And if you have to raise your hand and say, I am magnificent. I am powerful beyond measure. And you will feel a shift in your energy. You see, it is our light that frightens us. And that brings me to the first point. The problem in today's society is we took away all the rules of dress. And so we have a fashion anarchy going on. People not realizing how important image is to their lives and to their careers. You see, we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. And we cannot negate the importance of the physical representing the metaphysical. In other words, the metaphysical must come through and be represented by the physical appearance, the physical being. And inside of every person, there is a personality, there's skills, expertise, education. And this is something that people are so eager to show in their website, their business cards, their emails, their Skype conversations, their texting. But we seem to be reluctant or reluctant to show or ignorant of the power of image in our lives. And so what has happened now in the United States and throughout Asia, we see a malaise. People wearing clothes to cover their naked body, but having no idea of the language that image speaks. And so we have people who are very qualified, like you, working at jobs and not really getting anywhere. They're not getting promoted. They're not getting the bonuses and the higher pay that they deserve. And they don't understand why, because they know they're very good at what they do. And then we have people who are entrepreneurs, like many of you, who have at-home businesses, who when they go out to network are not being received the way they feel they should. They don't have the confidence they need, or if they do have confidence, it isn't as strong as it could be, because people are not reacting to them the way they think they should react. And then we have people who can't break through, like many women, the glass ceiling. They think it's a prejudice of men against women, but they don't realize that they're creating their own prejudice through their image, not being where it needs to be. And so we have people then, there are many people in the United States, especially, and Asia, who are not getting the job. They can't seem to get hired, or they don't keep the job. And I can tell you from my many years of experience that it's oftentimes due more to the way you present yourself and a disharmony between what people see and who you are and what your expertise is. So we have to understand that beauty is a vibration. Beauty is, if I could explain this to you in a hierarchy, there is God, which is all love, and under God is compassion and then beauty. And beauty, and I say beauty to you men also who may be thinking, oh, she's talking about beauty. What does that have to do with me? It has everything to do with you, because beauty does not have a gender form. We use handsome when we talk to men about looking nicer. Men want to look handsome. But everyone, male and female, must step into the vibration of beauty. It is a powerful vibration that men have died for and people have killed for and wars have been fought over. Beauty, and to possess beauty. It is in architecture. It is in interior design. It is in our environment, in our landscaping, in our buildings, in our art, in our food. Can you imagine someone trying to serve you food looking as terrible as most people walk around nowadays? If they just slopped it on a broken plate and mushed it all together and just served it to you, wouldn't look very appetizing, would it? Would you like to go into a restaurant or home that smelled bad and looked disheveled? I think that would be very off-putting to most people. And so we have an image that is either going to repel or attract people to us, but most of us go around nowadays without any knowledge of what our image is saying or doing. Now there are people like Steve Jobs, bless his heart, he was amazing. Or directors like Steven Spielberg, who directed Jurassic Park and E.T. and another 20 some odd 30 years of movies since then, who were able to become mega millionaires and billionaires from their genius alone. Bill Gates, he dresses very simply, nothing to it. But how many of us are a Steve Jobs or a Bill Gates or a Steven Spielberg? Tiny percentage in the world of people who can be that successful and really not look very good. Norman Vincent Peale, maybe 40, 50 years ago, talked about the as-if principle. And Napoleon Hill, at about the same time, wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich. And they both talked about the importance of acting as if, dressing as if, and then you become as if. Because if you are trying to earn more money, which I think most of you are, and you still look poor and unsuccessful, two things are happening. Every time you look in the mirror, you think things aren't working. You think that new seminar you took isn't working. You think, well, maybe that new course I took is not working. And then worse, when other people meet you, they don't see someone more successful. So who's telling the truth? Is it you or your image? What's going on? And I can tell you that there's a strong disharmony between who you are and what you're representing. Of course, most of the people in this world have no clue about this. And so they go around year after year spending money on clothes that don't make them look good, colors that don't flatter them, collar shapes and jackets that diminish their power, instead of giving them power, which is what they so desperately need. We go out and we think we don't strategize our image. How many of you take a half hour to an hour every day to strategize exactly what you're going to wear, how you'll fix your hair, how you'll groom, to present yourself to get the reaction that you want from the people you are most likely going to meet that day? I would venture to say that very few of you have ever thought about your image in that kind of important detail. And so we have people going around in this world whose cell phones are more current than their image. Can you imagine carrying around a 5-year-old cell phone and talking on it in front of anyone? You'd be embarrassed. You'd be mortified to have a big, clunky, out-of-style phone that doesn't have today's technology in your hand. And what about your computer? Does it have all the latest software updates? Is it the newest, sleekest computer you can afford? I bet it is. And then I would also guess to say that your image is probably 5 years or more out of style. So again, the problem is most people's cell phone and computer and technology is more current than their image. And what do people see first? Your cell phone or you? And so we've become very out of balance in today's society. We walk around trying to fit in. In Asia, I understand that it's more about fitting in, conformity, and family. Wisdom as you age, and including the elderly in your world. And I have great respect for your values. However, we now live in a globalized society. In our globalized world, you are doing business with the United States, North America, South America, and with Europe, and with Australia, and all parts of the world. Well, I can tell you that in the United States, it's even more a problem. People don't understand why they need to dress up, and they're not caring. And so if you are one of the lucky ones to learn about how to have an amazing image, you will be the one that will stand out in this world, in this lethargic world, where people go around disheveled, unkempt, and ungroomed. And so a mindset, there is a pervasive mindset infecting all of the world. And that mindset says, it's vain to look good. It's a waste of money to buy nice clothing. It's not the Christian thing to do. It's not the Muslim thing to do. It's not the right religious thing to do. Our parents tell us from the time we're young, just be clean, that's good enough. You need to be educated, but your image doesn't matter. Don't be so egotistical. And so there's a lot of negatives that have been instilled in our mind from the time we were young children, that image is a waste. And unless you were one of the lucky ones whose parents did care about the way they looked, you didn't learn those skills. And so you go to college and you get an amazing education, but you go through your whole life not having a clue about what people are perceiving about you based on your appearance. And so the problem number one, as we are discussing, is people do not realize what their image is saying about them and how it could be hurting their chances for success. So in business terminology, you have a TPI. Every person has a TPI. And what is that? Your total personal image. And it is comprised of 3 elements: your appearance, your body language, and your voice. Notice again, we don't say it's about your words. It is not about your words. Your words follow your first impression. There was a study done by a brilliant image consultant years ago named William Thirlby. He came up after 25 years of study with a list of 10 decisions that people make about you based solely on your first impression. In other words, they meet you, they scan you, and they discern some extremely important things about you in 10 seconds or less. The 10 decisions by William Thirlby are: 1. Your economic level. 2. Your educational level. 3. Your trustworthiness. 4. Your social position. 5. Your level of sophistication. 6. Your economic heritage. 7. Your social heritage. 8. Your educational heritage. 9. Your success. And 10. Your moral character. I'm sure many of you are having a strange reaction to hearing that list. I am certain that you, as well as all my clients over the years, have said, "Oh my gosh, how can they discern that about me in 10 seconds or less? That's not fair. Why should they judge if I'm educated or not, what kind of family I come from, what kind of heritage I have?" But that's a reality. And I didn't make the rules, but I know how to play by them, and I know how to teach you how to play by those rules. So now that your level of awareness is going up, I hope that you're realizing that your image really matters, and people are going to make these judgments about you, whether you like it or not. So why not have them be positive ones that will help you open doors in your life? You see, I found out many years ago by studying the law of attraction that we can either bring success to us easily, or we can do what most people do, which is push, say it's so hard, and they have to do this and they have to do that. No, you don't have to do things the way everyone does them. You can do them smarter, you can do them easier, and you can get ahead faster. And I have proven that to thousands of people over the years, including my life, which has always done things. In my life, I've always done things in a different way and had amazing results. We have to realize that we now live in a very fast-paced ADD society. People are running around getting imploded by all kinds of information at every moment, advertising and infomercials and webinars and telecommunications, and their minds are like this, and then they go around and they're texting. And so along you come and you have a chance to meet this person who's busy texting, and they stop to look up at you and to meet you. And if you make a negative first impression, they just kind of look up, "Hi, how are you?" and they go back to texting. What's happened is you've lost that moment of networking, that moment of doing business, that moment of connection, because you had a negative image that didn't connect well with who you are, and more importantly, their expectation of you. One of the most important things we need to realize when we meet someone in business for the first time, whether you're a doctor, you're an attorney, you're a business person, you're an entrepreneur, for whatever career or field you've chosen and you are in, people have a subconscious expectation of what or how you should look. In other words, an actor is not expected to look like a physician. And a physician really shouldn't look like a tech guy. And a tech guy shouldn't look like a banker. We all have roles to play. And in those roles are specific expectations of how we need to look and comport ourselves. And so when we meet someone for the first time, our job is to meet or exceed their expectations with our appearance and our behavior. And that will help us seal the deal much more easily. There's a famous television station in the United States called ABC. They ran a two-part story years ago called Lookism. And they had hidden cameras go in and follow a man and a woman who were very good-looking and well-dressed on job interviews, and another man and woman who were not as good-looking and not very well-dressed, just averagely dressed, decent, but average, also on their job interviews. The two different pairs were competing for the same jobs. The pair that didn't look as good were actually way more qualified. But you'd be surprised to know that it was the beautiful, handsome, good-looking, well-dressed man and woman who got hired on the spot, who were offered higher pay, who were offered a better bonus package, and a longer vacation time. Now, you would think that they were hired because they look good, but they went and interviewed the human resources person who had originally interviewed them. They interviewed them for television afterwards, and they said point blank, the less good-looking couple were way more qualified than the people you ended up hiring. Did you hire them because they were better looking? And in both human resource departments, the people said, no, I hired them because they were more like what our company looks like. They seemed more confident. They seemed like they knew what they were doing. They just seemed more qualified. No, they were more qualified. And they couldn't even believe that they were less qualified than the others. In other words, the resume became unimportant compared to their image. That's how powerful a good image is. You get ahead in life faster. On my radio show recently, I had the privilege of interviewing Dr. Daniel Hammermesh. He's a professor of economics at the University of Texas in Austin. Dr. Hammermesh concluded a 20-year study on the correlation between being beautiful and making money. And what he found was that over the course of a lifetime, a person who is beautiful earns on average $274,000 US more than someone who is not as beautiful. So we could conclude from this that looking great helps you make more money. There are certain image cues that I want all of you to be aware of. The first cue is when we have a great overall image, it says to the world that we have great self-respect and we are accomplished. That's very important. The second cue is when we are very well coordinated from head to toe, it says that we pay attention to detail and we don't miss anything. And in this critically fast world, people want to do business with those of us who pay attention to small details. That makes us have a level of excellence that people are hungry to work with. The third cue is having a modern, stylish image. And that will translate to meaning you are flexible, you are current in your education and expertise, you are up to date, and you are growing better as you age. Many people make the mistake of not staying modern and current with their image. So people erroneously believe that you're outdated in your thinking. So if you're worried about getting older and worried that people will not want to hire you or keep you on the job because of your age, you may want to realize that it's you who's creating the problem, not those looking at you. And the fourth image cue is being well-groomed. Being well-groomed says that you are neat and your work is neat and organized and everything is up to date. So when you think that your grooming doesn't matter, think again, because that is one of the most important things that you can do immediately to make yourself look like you are really on your game. The fifth and last main image cue is wearing good quality shoes, accessories, and clothing. Quality clothing says that you are a person of quality, that you are a person of substance, that you are successful, and you can be trusted. Now, what do I mean by trusted? What I mean is you say you're successful and you're looking elegant and successful because your clothing and accessories are fine. So the next time you want to go grab cheap because it's quantity in your brain instead of quality, think again what message that may be sending about you to people who you do business with. Now, I know that a lot of you watching today are in the technical field and are techies, as we like to call you in the United States. And as such, you probably think that this is ridiculous and it doesn't apply to you and you're already doing great. Well, I'd like to mention someone that you're very familiar with, Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, as we all know, dresses and acts like a nerd. He wears hoodies, he wears sloppy t-shirts, he wears cheap, ugly denims. He dresses terribly. But Mark is a brilliant man, as we all know. And he was smart enough to hire Sean Parker, who is handsome and extremely well-dressed, has fantastic social graces, and he paid Sean to be the face of his business to the bankers and investors to get him the funding to become the Facebook we know today. He didn't send in a sloppily dressed, badly groomed techie guy to get him money. He sent the man who looked like he was successful and dressed great and knew how to comport himself well with great social graces to get him the money he needed to expand his business. That's how powerful image is. By now, I know you understand that your image has a powerful effect on those around you, and that most people don't have the image they need or deserve to have to be as successful as they want to be. And you also understand that image is one thing, it's communication, and it has a language and a messaging that's unique and of its own. So if you realize that your appearance is not what it should be or could be, and you don't know the language of communication or how to pull it together, where do you go and what do you do? And what are the specific things you need to learn in order to package yourself with grace and accuracy and ease? Today, we've discussed the problem of image that's rampant in our world and our society now. And we've talked about what image is and how we communicate with image and how important that is to our ultimate success in life. And now we need to learn how to put all that together and create a new image that is effective, that has the right branding, and creates the right look and energy and feel for your expertise, your education, and your occupation. Not to mention the benefits that you'll receive in your marriage, your relationships, your personal life from looking better and more pulled together and having a more positive, confident attitude. And that means you men and you women, for people of all ages, from teenagers all the way through people in their 90s. Yes, I've taught them all. To me, image and teaching about image is an art and a science, and every one of my students gets to learn both. When we talk about the art of image, people think of somebody with an artistic flair, somebody who just kind of falls out of bed and they know how to wear clothing right and fix their hair because they have that savoir-faire, they have that style. And that's great, but there's a small percentage of people only in this world that have that natural flair for fashion and following trends and clothing. And the rest of us need to learn the science of looking good. So in my program, I've developed a two-pronged approach. We learn how to develop our creativity, learn how to express our fashion type, but first we learn the basics, the scientific methods of knowing your best colors so that people are drawn to you, not repelled by you. The colors that make you look younger, have more energy, and look more vibrant and on your game. Very important for your vibrational energy. And then we'll address your fashion, and then you'll learn about your facial shape and how that corresponds to what we call the inner line. So that choosing hairstyles and haircuts, your eyeglasses, lapel shapes, pocket shapes, your briefcase, handbag, shoes, belts, all those lines will be proper for your facial shape. It will all work and reflect back to your face in a most positive way. We'll learn about your body proportions, your unique challenges with your body, your contrast levels, your texture levels, and all the science that goes into dressing yourself effectively, wisely, so that you stop wasting time and money on clothing that does nothing for you, and even worse, brings your power down, detracts from your message, makes you look less energetic, and actually hurts your chances of success. I'd like to show you something I think you'll find interesting. I wasn't like this. I wasn't always like this. I wasn't always polished and confident and put together. As you look at your screen, you'll see my before picture. I was about 42 years old, and you'll see my after picture. And here I am, 17 years later. Yes, you do the math. I just had my 59th birthday. I'm proud of it. I think women should be proud of their age. The method that I teach has taken me a lifetime to put together. And I use this method every day for myself, and I teach it to all my clients, and it works. It's fast, it's simple, it's effective, and you'll get it. And I teach it to you in a way that I watch, and when the light goes off in your eyes, I just know, boom, they've got it. And I guarantee you that you will never look at image the same way again. If I was able to go from looking like that frumpy-dumpy mess to looking better almost 20 years later, you can do the same. And the benefits of staying on the job longer and having people admire you and respect you your entire life will be well worth your time. I know many of you in business have learned about ROI, return on investment. Well, in my world, we have ROII, return on your image investment. And that's just as important, because if you add up all the years of mistakes, costly mistakes in your closet, and all the clothes hanging there and shoes that on that floor that you don't wear, or worse, that you wear and look bad in, if you add up all the mistakes over all these years of clothing that you don't like, don't wear, that's just sitting in your closet collecting dust, and you're paying rent on that square footage or mortgage, you're wasting your space, time, money, and effort. When you learn my method, you'll stop wasting time, money, and effort, and you'll be polished and put together, and you'll know it. You won't have to ask anyone, but the compliments will begin to pour in. And for those of you who feel like you're not at your ideal weight, don't worry about it. Because when you love the way you look and you start to get compliments, you'll naturally start to eat healthier and better, because you'll want to keep that vibration of positivity moving forward. Going back to ROII, I've worked with so many people who have doubled and tripled their income, and fast. Many years ago, I worked with an architect who was making about $125,000 a year. He came to me, we worked together for 3 days, we updated his wardrobe and his look, and he got job offers at $300,000 and $350,000 just 6 weeks later. People who were in the networking business or multi-level marketing business reported back to me after taking my seminar that they couldn't even get near millionaires or wealthy people to listen to their pitch, but after they looked great, lots of wealthy people wanted to buy their product or were interested in what they had to say. I've had women who couldn't get a promotion who became vice president of their company within 4 weeks of taking my course. We'll show you some testimonials today, and you'll see also my website. Person after person who has written in and told me about the life-changing stories and things that happened to them because of learning how to dress themselves well. I can't wait to share this information with you. There is nothing I love more in life than helping people look and feel more beautiful. And so you'll join me on this journey and we will have an amazing time together. My workshop for NAC is called Image Mastery, Creating Impact with Image, and it's going to be amazing. The workshop will be held in both Kuala Lumpur and Singapore. It is 2.5 days in length, beginning on Friday evening, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. In Kuala Lumpur, the workshop dates are September 7th, 8th, and 9th. In Singapore, the dates are August 31st and September 1st and 2nd. We are offering a 50% discount for a business partner or family member that attends with you. We are also offering free bonus gifts to those of you who sign up within the next week. You'll receive a copy of my dynamic ebook, Eve's 20 Tips to Energize Your Wow, and you'll also receive my Power Shopping video. For more information or to register, please contact Success Resources in Malaysia or Singapore by email or phone. The contact information is for Kuala Lumpur, September 7th, 8th, and 9th workshop. Email john.chong@srpl.net. His phone number is +603 7801 2888. For Singapore, August 31st, September 1st and 2nd, please email clarissa.corcoro@srpl.net. Her phone number is +65 6299 4677. I look forward to seeing all of you at my workshop.